How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to take a look at the brand new 4K collection of the airport films that's coming out from Kino Lorber. Now, the airport films, I've been a fan of these for a long time now. I have not yet seen the fourth one. I know it's not necessarily the fan favorite out of them, but I've seen the first three and I know enough about them to know that I like them. Now, I started out back in the day with this original Universal DVD set called the Terminal Pack, and still got this, obviously. I don't know if this is something that is still available. This was like a Walmart, cheapy type thing, but for an old DVD set from the early 2000s, it's nice. It's got the flipper discs, which nobody is really a fan of, but for a set that has all four films, this was kind of the only way you could get them all together for the longest time, until Kino stepped in, and they've given us this beast here of all four films, original 35 millimeter camera negative scans for brand new 4K transfers. And as a fan of these movies, what more could you ask for? Now, you'll see the poster in the background for Airplane. I've been a fan of Airplane since I was a kid. It's comedy genius. It's just one of the funniest movies I've ever seen, and most people that have seen it would say the same. The airport films is what inspired Airplane 1 and 2. But talking about the first one mainly, it's almost hard to watch parts of Airport 1 and Airport 2, because you'll watch it and it is impossible to miss all of the scenes that you can clearly tell that they've spoofed in Airplane. And it's almost to a T, some of the stuff that you see in like, especially the second Airport. It is like carbon copy, just what they did in Airplane, but just obviously turned up the melodrama, turned up the comedy to 1,000, and used that in Airplane. So that, as a fan of Airplane, if you haven't seen the airport movies, I think it's kind of a must, because you'll clearly be able to tell the parts and the things that they've nitpicked about these films and put in Airplane. And it's just kind of a fun way to see a different type of movie that you can clearly see the different things that they spoofed about it. But the airport movies are like really melodramatic, very character study heavy, very dialogue heavy, especially the first one. But they all have this like character to them. And the first one is like the perfect movie to watch during a snowstorm or just a blustery cold winter day where you're kind of just sitting at home, a lazy Sunday with a cup of coffee or hot chocolate, and watching the first airport movie in that atmosphere is like the perfect way to watch it, because it just builds this atmosphere in the movie of being trapped at the airport, huge snowstorm, everything that can go wrong does go wrong. It follows multiple characters throughout the airport, including just random people in the airport, passengers, pilots, staff, all that stuff. And another thing about the first one is the cast. It's a who's who of big Hollywood name actors of the time, like Dean Martin, for example. The second one having Karen Black in it. And, you got Jimmy Stewart in here in this set as well. This is a great cast of characters in these films. And it just, I don't know, I really always liked the vibe of these from the first time that I saw them. But let's take a look at the packaging a little closer and see what my first impressions are of that. So the first thing I gotta say is the cardboard on this set is a very hardcover book style cardboard. It's not flimsy. It feels premium. It feels very sturdy, so nothing to worry about there. The outer box has the very bold, nice, classy looking artwork that they chose. Originally, it was going to be the poster art for the first film, but for whatever reasons, they had to change that, and they ended up using this artwork, which is a little bit of a twist on the artwork for the second film that they kind of tweaked a little bit to make it work for the cover of this set. And I think it looks great. It looks really good in person. It just is kind of striking. It fits. I'm not upset that they had to change the artwork to this. I think it works very well. On the back here, you have a little bit of information about all the films, and then you have the special features on the bottom, which unfortunately we don't really get a lot as far as special features go. You know, we got audio commentaries for all 4 films, and that's about it. There are some theatrical trailers that are newly remastered, and then there's an essay booklet that you get. So as far as digital special features, not much to say there, but I'm just happy to have these films on 4K because the original 35mm camera negatives, I mean, that's exactly what you want when it comes to, you know, restoring these old films like this. Now, the sleeve, again, very nice hardcover style. The booklet inside where the discs are housed is, again, same type of cardboard, very sturdy. It's just hardcover book style, not flimsy, and it's nice. The back of the inside book has the info there about all the films and the specs. And I think the coolest part about this set is the inside where the discs are at. Now, each page has the original poster art for the film that is in that sleeve. So really like that artwork there as well for the second one. That's the one with Karen Black in it. Really enjoy that one. There's Airport 77, the one where they're trapped underneath the sea in a crashed airplane. And then the one I still have yet to see, so this will be a first time watch in this set for me, is the Concorde. And then on the last page, you have some scans of what looks to be some original lobby cards for all 4 films. And then the last thing we have on the back page inside of a sleeve here is a booklet with some nice alternate artwork there. And that is where the film essay comes in and talks about all 4 films. Now, one thing I wanted to mention about this, there were some concerns that a lot of people seem to have about this collection being in this type of packaging. Some people even went as far as to say, I'm not buying the set. I'm going to buy the individual releases, which are available from Kino Lorber as well. You can buy each of these films individually on 4K if you wanted to, but you also have this set. And the one concern that a lot of people had was this is the cardboard sleeve packaging, which many people have a problem with because they're scared about damages to the disc, scratching the disc. You know, as a collector, I typically don't go for sets like this either. I do prefer the sets where it's an outer sleeve and then you have individual plastic Blu-ray cases on the inside. I'm a little surprised that they didn't go with that because Kino Lorber typically does, especially like the film noir sets. All of those have the individual cases inside. But I think because this was like a universal deal and stuff, they kind of maybe had a little less control over what they wanted to do with the packaging. But again, I'm happy to say that, you know, the inner sleeves here, they're not a problem because the discs slide out extremely easily. Okay, no damage to the disc. Obviously, it's brand new, so there's not going to be any damage. But this cardboard out here is your standard, like, cardboard feel. It's not, you know, it's smooth, but it's just cardboard. You can kind of tell here that the inner sleeve where the disc sits, that is a very glossy finish. So it's not just your standard type of cardboard. It's a very glossy, slick finish on the inside. And you will not be fighting the discs to come in and out of this set whatsoever. The disc comes out very easily, and it also slides in just as easily. So I'll show you again for the second film here. You know, this just comes out extremely easily, goes right back in, no force whatsoever needed to get these discs out. They just slide very easily. So if that was a worry that anybody had about this and we're kind of holding off to see how the set kind of looked upon its release, I would say that you don't have to worry about that whatsoever. I don't foresee any issues with disc scratches or anything by taking them in and out of this packaging. So happy to report that. I think Kino did a great job putting this set together. All things considered, you know, the artwork came out really good. The cardboard outer box feels very premium and sturdy, and so does the inner packaging. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting back into these movies, as it's been quite a while since I've seen them. But I'm gonna wait for that snowy day in winter, and wait for, you know, some snowstorms, or just, you know, one of those lazy Sundays where I'm just ready to chill on the couch and watch a movie. And I'm gonna pop that first airport in, put the phone on airplane mode, and just like get lost in the story, because that kind of really is the vibe of that movie, especially the first one. You just kind of get like lost in all the melodrama and the different characters and following everybody around. It's just, if you're into that kind of thing, I think it's worth checking these out if you haven't seen them already. And again, if you're a fan of Airplane 1 and 2, but especially the first one, you owe it to yourself to see at least the first 2 films in this series, because they are what inspired Airplane. And it's like, again, it is so funny to watch some of the scenes in these first 2 films, because it's like dead on with some of the spoof material in Airplane. So as a fan of these, I'm like ecstatic to have this set. Kino did a great job. And yeah, so check out the airport films from Kino Lorber. You can get this set, which is very nice, or you can get the individual films if you wanted to just check out 1 or 2 of them, or whatever reason you might have. The individuals are available as well, but for me, the set was the way to go. I'm very happy with it. So check it out, the Airport Collection 4K from Kino Lorber.